Hey everyone, Angelo Mancios, BehindTheVault.net. Today, our special guest, fitness and nutrition expert, Jillian Michaels. Let's go behind the vault. Awesome. Well, Jillian, thank you so much for doing this. I'm super excited to be able to get your time today. So why don't we just jump right in? I've watched a lot of videos on your story. In one interview you did with Google, you talked about how in your 20s, you got away from fitness because your mom and your friends were like, oh, you need to get a real job because, you can't really do well doing this. And you took this office job that you hated. And then when you left that job, you went back to something that you were passionate about, which was nutrition, fitness, and then you built this empire. Now, it's really easy for me to talk to you about it now that it's all been built, but what I'm really interested in is the beginning. Like, what happened? Because you go back into personal training and nutrition training, if you ask anybody, oh, what's that kind of like? You could probably describe what a personal trainer does, but you took it to a level that nobody's ever seen. Talk to us a little bit about the first few years and the aha moments of you figuring out that, you know what, I can build an empire doing this and I can get my message out to millions rather than just, 20, 30 people a week.
Of course. So I fell into fitness training at 17 and took it for granted. And then, as you mentioned, at around 24, I was dating somebody who worked in the entertainment industry, who was older than me, Ivy League grad, who was like, you need a real job. You can't do this forever. So a friend of that person got me a job at ICM, International Creative Management. And I started out as a trainee and I worked my way up over the course of 3 years to become a junior agent. Now I'm 27. I've never made less money and I've never been more miserable. So at this point, I'm like, okay, what do I do with my life? And I end up, I think, unconsciously sabotaging the situation because I get caught up in this big political mess there between these two power agents. I had to pick an allegiance, picked the wrong guy, got fired. And I'm now 27, having wasted 3.5 years, dead broke, and made a big, powerful enemy in the industry, it's entertainment industry. So it was literally like, you'll never eat lunch in this town again, like some ridiculous Hollywood cliche. So I have to pay my bills. And I end up getting a job at a sports medicine facility, aiding, because there's a difference between assisting and aiding. You don't need a degree in physical therapy to aid a physical therapist. So I start working under a physical therapist and I'm putting ice packs on people, E-stem, ultrasound, doing certain stretches, certain exercises, and rehabilitating patients under the supervision of the in-house physical therapist. And of course, I was humiliated. I was a 27-year-old Hollywood agent, and now I'm putting ice packs on people. But a bad day for your ego is a great day for your soul. So time goes on, and all of a sudden I'm waking up happy for the first time in almost 4 years. And I'm making just as much money, if not more again, because I'm graduating the physical therapy patients into fitness training. So once again, I'm happy and making more money. And at this point, I start building this physical therapy practice because all the people that I used to work with at the talent agency were coming in for injuries and massage and PT and training. So I now think to myself at 28, I'm like, well, hold on. I could probably do this myself. I could open up my own sports medicine facility, which is, I don't know what I was thinking. But I figured, I was like, if I can grow this business, I can grow my own. So I learned how to structure it so that I could have doctors working for me that I worked under. So a physiatrist, a chiropractor, physical therapists. So we could work under their license at my business. And it took me 3 years to figure it out. And I had clients that were angel investors who believed in me and invested in the business. So I get it up and running. And now I'm thinking to myself, all right, great. I've got this business. We're doing well. How do I brand this business? Because at that time, things that were working were things like curves, right? These kind of franchise fitness models. So I thought, all right, I'm going to franchise this business. How do I gain attention for this business? Well, what trainers are well known right now? And at the time, I like to call them they're great trainers, but I call them the tabloid era, because you have like the TV era, the YouTube era, the TikTok era, the Instagram era, the tabloid era. So these were people like Gunnar Peterson and Harley Pasternak that were training celebrities in tabloids. So I was like, all right, I need a celebrity clientele. So it's Los Angeles, it's not that hard. A few people reached out to a few people. I got a couple of celebrities, and then referred me to more celebrities. So now I'm like, all right, I'm going to build a name for myself, and then I'm going to franchise out my gym. And one of the agents I used to work with at ICM heard about The Biggest Loser, put me up for The Biggest Loser, and I ended up getting it because I had a successful business. I'd been doing it for such a long time. I had to train a producer, and I got like 14 pounds off the guy, and I can't remember, like a month maybe. So they were like, all right, she's the one, we're going to hire her. They hired me. And then at that point I thought, well, wait a second, Cesar Millan's a guy who really likes dogs. Martha Stewart had a catering company out of her basement. Coco Chanel was an orphan seamstress, and Mrs. Fields had one hell of a cookie recipe. Like, what's to stop me from being as big as they are, right? I'm a girl that did lunges to fit into skinny jeans. Like, why can't I do that? And that's when I began building a team around me that understood marketing and branding and business. But that's the very long story, as short as possible.
All right, make sure that you like and comment below. Subscribe right here, and we get that algorithm going, and we put more content out for more people. And speaking of our next video, there it is.